Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I thought I'd do a video that's incorporating like two parts. So first of all I'll be showing my Pygmy Sundew collection, so those that I sewed from gemmae as like an update, as well as the Pygmy Sundews that I got in a trade, because I traded one of my phalanx once and I got some really nice Pygmy Sundews as well as a Sarracenia, and I thought I'd update you on those because they're doing brilliantly now. And at the same time I thought I'd do like a greenhouse update, just to show new stuff that's happened in the greenhouse. So if anybody's noticed, I have some Sarracenia, which you can see just here, and I'm currently sitting towards the back of my greenhouse, and I've got some new back benching. So these were actually made last week, but I haven't actually been to the greenhouse for a good week or so. Like, I've been out here just to see how everything's doing, but I haven't had the time to do anything. So today I have changed around all my trays, put all the Sarracenia at the back because this is where they're now going to be, and I was going to start organising my trays, but I just need to sort out a bit more of a permanent thing once it becomes spring and I can judge how high everything's going to be this year. So I've brought some of my bigger pots of Pygmy Sundews and the ones I sewed from gemmae just out here just to show you some updates. So I'll start with these larger ones. Some of them have been kept in like different places, so these ones are just kept on a windowsill compared to the ones over here which are actually under a grow light and in my broom. So I don't really have much space, so these ones have just been placed on a windowsill for now, but are still doing quite well, but different ones are at different stages. So my Dresser Rosanna, which I did do in that video, have all come up now. And they're all looking like this, so they haven't got any dew on them yet, so like I said, some of them at different stages to others. But these ones are looking really nice. There's loads in the pot, and the Rosanna is a really sweet one because they're quite small, and as well they've got really nice red, pink, dewy traps, and they just create really nice like shape, and yeah, it's just a really, really nice plant. So I've got my Pulchella cross Nicidula, which is the one I have the most of, and I sewed so much gemmae of this. I have only done, I think, 2 in larger pots, and the rest of them have been in like smaller ones just because I have so much to sew. And as you can see, again, some at different stages, and you've got some here. I think I've got also some here as well, yes. So these ones are the same, and as you can see they're a lot more developed than the other ones, considering they're all in like the same place. These ones have actually started getting their dew on, which you can see here. Are just looking all nice. I've sewn quite a few in this pot this year just because I've got so many of the gemmae, and I don't really have much room, especially to raise them indoors before placing them out here permanently once it comes to spring. So I've sewn quite a few in a pot this year just to see, you know, how many stay, and it'll probably be a really nice display as well, actually, having this many in a pot. I've got some more Rosanna here, which I've just sewn in this pot. And then the ones on this side, I'll say they are least developed and sewn a little bit later. So these are the, some of the ones I got off of the plant swap one. So this is a Dresser Platistigma, which the gemmae was already on the plants when I received them, and I sewed some a bit extra, but none of them have really come up as much. So there's a couple you can see just developing. It's like a little bit harder to focus of these ones, but you can see they're just starting to grow now. Also some Dresser Occidentalis, which is probably the one that I sewed most recently. So as you can see, very, very small. The plants themselves are also very small, and you can see just amongst the perlite there some little ones coming up. So I've got some Manii cross Amissa ones here. So there was less of these. I didn't have that many at all on a plant, and you can see they've been evenly distributed on here, but they're still coming up and looking quite nice. As well as the Palacea at the back here, which is another one that I got in my plant trade, and I sewed some of the gemmae off of the plant here. So these are the biggest ones that I sewed, which are all from gemmae. So these ones here are the select few that have been in my propagator under a grow light, so they're a bit more ahead of the other ones that I've kept on a windowsill, but these are like my select favourite, and because I don't have much space under the grow light, I decided to select these few because they're like my favourite ones so far. So the first one is the Scorpioides, which many people might know is definitely my favourite Pygmy Sundew, and these ones are my from my own plant. So they're just over a month old now. They haven't got their dew yet, but they're doing really well, getting nice and tall. And the one I think has always again been like a second favourite is my Pulchella. So I only had one surviving plant this year, and I was so happy when it finally created gemmae, because now I've obviously got all of these in this pot here. I've also sown another 2 pots of this, which I've still got, and I'm really happy to have more of these, because that's the one I was most worried about not having, because it has such a beautiful flower as well, and I just love the shape of it. And another one which I got in the trade with my phalanx was some Drosa Leucoblasta gemmae, and as you can see, they have all come up, apart from just this little one which I've lost it. But other than that, these ones are doing really well. Like, they have established so quickly, and they've got so much dew. Like, it's obviously quite hard to see as they're so small now, but they are really, really beautiful. I'm really happy about how much these came up, because obviously I was worried just in case they didn't. But I'm really happy I've got the gemmae, and these have all grown. And then the Pygmy Sundew plants that I've got. So in this pot here is loads and loads of Drosa occidentalis, which are so tiny. I don't even know if I'll be able to show. But you can't really see as much, so they do have dew on them. But there are so many in this pot you can't necessarily distinguish. You can see maybe a couple in there with the dew, really faintly. And they're all starting to flower as well. So they've got little white flowers, or little pinky white flowers. You can see a flower here. I don't know if it's quite hard to see, but it's a beautiful mass this is, and I managed to get some gemmae for this one as well. This one here I would say is currently my favourite of all the new Pygmy Sundews that I've got. So this is the Drosa platystigma, and it recently flowered and it had the most amazing flower. So I really like the Drosa pulchella because of its orange flower, and this one also had a really lovely orange flower, which I'll put a picture over because it was just beautiful. Like, they don't last long, the flowers, only a couple of hours, and I only managed to see one, but it was so beautiful when I did, and I took loads of pictures. But as you can see again, a little mass of these plants, got loads of dew on, lovely shape, similar to the pulchella actually, which is just absolutely beautiful. Then finally, these ones at the back, which I sowed a lot of gemmae. All these plants had gemmae originally, so I've got quite a few pots of this from gemmae. Is the Palacea, which are a bit more scruffy looking, but as you can see as well, some of them are starting to get their dew back now after taking the gemmae off of them and being under the light. And again, we've got a couple of them that are in flower. So this is the update so far of most of the Pygmy Sundews that I've got. Hopefully, obviously, next time I'll be able to show them. There'll be a greater display. So now I thought I would show the update of the greenhouse so far. So the big main tray here was the one where I had all my Sarracenia, practically all my plants on. And now all the Sarracenia have been moved to the back here with my 2 new back benches. So the whole way around the greenhouse now has the benches. Obviously I still have the lower side, which I keep originally kept the taller plants on. Now I use it for more storage, which is great because I've got this back bench now, which will definitely help with the taller Sarracenia, as obviously the greenhouse is more of a triangle, so the taller plants will be able to fit nicely in the middle. So I thought I'd just show everything. I'm not going to show anything specific, I don't think. I'm just going to give a quick rundown of how everything's kind of organised now. Not that there is a massively great order, but I've kind of want to make this large tray now like a Venus flytrap and a Drosa kind of tray, so it'll be half and half really once I've sorted it all out. But I've still got a few things to do in here, so a few of my flytraps I want to put into larger pots, which are the larger ones. So I've already done it to a few, like my wonderful phalanx here. It's still looking beautiful even though this time of year. Same with the Beastie Boy, which I recently potted up. Got a few cup traps in there, which I took from like little rhizome pullings. There's the red dragon in there, which needs to just be potted up because it's been a little bit buried by everything. My red piranha, which I also recently potted up. And they've got a bristle tooth at the back there. So I've got as well the smaller ones. So these are some divisions I took off of my bunny bog fly traps, which I recently redid. Then I've got my dentates, Darwin, mega traps, fuse tooth, and I've got a couple of little ones here. So I've got my yellow fuse tooth there and my little green sawtooth here. And I recently acquired a B52 as well. So it's only a small one at the minute, but I can't wait until that gets really big because I know that will be a really nice one. It's definitely been on my wish list for ages and such a great grower. So then most of the rest is mainly Drosa. So this is my newest one that I got, which is the Drosa Venusa, and it's still looking really nice with all this dew on being out here still. And then obviously I've got my other ones which are in dormancy, like my Bonata and Filiformis. Also got my Anglica and Rotundiflora at the back. Rotundifolia, I mean, sorry. I've got a couple of Sarracenia still here, because they didn't fit on the tray over there, plus I wanted to potentially put them outside in the bog barrels rather than keep them in here. I took some rhizome cuttings as well from a couple of mine, and I'm just waiting for them to grow once the weather warms up. Which it's still not necessarily loads to see in here, but I have now put everything mainly into square pots, so everything now is in square pots other than a few things. But I've got some great displays in here with different bits. I've got some flytraps still over here, which are the ones I did from flower stalk pullings, ones I did from seed. So you can see the difference between the two here, because they were done about roughly at the same time, so you can see the difference between flower stalk propagation and seed, as well as a few Alicia that I've got in here. And then what I've mainly got left in circle pots are my 3 bog planters, which I've done, and then I've got a pot of Black Widow cross seeds in here, which are doing really well so far. So this is their first year out here, but they're still doing really well. And then obviously my bog barrels, which I really like these. So this is my Sundew cottage, which I've cut down all the fern, but there's a few straggly bits, like I haven't cut down any of the flower stalks, but still great. It's just obviously a bit overwhelmed by moss at the moment, like everything is. My bunny bog I recently redid, so it's not looking as brilliant as it always has, but once it comes in spring, all these older leaves will die off once it gets new growth. But it's looking really nice so far, and I've got great promise for it, especially as I've put a few Uticularia in there as well. So hopefully they'll come up and make a nice display behind the bunny over there. And then my bird bog planter, which I don't think I've shown in many videos, and a couple of people have asked about it, but it's still doing quite well. It's just not that great, like looking great. All the plants are doing absolutely fine. So I've got my spatulas there, flytrap, Alicia, and then my Uticularia has just died down, but you can see it just in the middle there, right at the back in the moss. You can see its little leaves there. But all the moss has kind of covered everything over, so it's not the most impressive display at the moment, but it is still doing really well with all the planting in there. So at the back here is just strictly Sarracenia so far, and eventually the whole back of the greenhouse will be for my Sarracenia. So far they are just in a smaller tray, which I've used previously instead of one of the larger ones. I'm either going to get a couple more larger ones, or a couple of people have sent me links to like making your own trays up, or getting them specially designed fitted ones, which has been great, and I've been looking into that more, so that might be a cheaper alternative for me to use as well. So everything in here, I've just randomly placed everything here. So I've got some large ones at the back and then smaller ones at the front. No particular order. I'm going to wait until they start coming out of dormancy in spring, and then I can measure the height, so it'll kind of be like tall in the middle and then smaller ones towards the edge. But as you can see, there isn't much to currently look at. There is a couple that are still not fully dormant. So I've got my Sarracenia leucophila Baldwin's Giants here, which is slowly dying down on this final trap, but it's still got some great coloration to it. As well as Sarracenia flava here. It's got some lovely nectar in the middle there, but it's still got quite a few traps. My Alata black tube here, which is currently facing the wrong way, but it's got some nice looking traps still. Some older ones, you can see they are slowly dying down. They will probably cut them off soon, as everything will start growing relatively quickly, considering it's almost spring now. My Tarnock, which is its trap that I had when I first brought it, is looking great. And obviously everything else as well is just looking good. There's a couple I still need to repot, so I said I was going to put everything into square pots, but I haven't got round to it with everything yet. But this is like a great display of Sarracenia actually, so fitting them all onto this one tray definitely shows where the direction of my collecting is going, especially my 3 new ones which I had in my unboxing video previously. And once they all come out, I think they'll make an amazing display. So my purpurea, especially this time of year, are amazing to look at. So just look at the beautiful colour of these. Absolutely stunning little plants as well. Still the Sarracenia, I can't wait until spring when they all come up, because it will be such an amazing display, especially at the back of the greenhouse. It'll be a focal point as soon as you walk in. Okay, so that is my collection and how it all looks now. I've basically been able to get everything from my collection onto 2 trays. Obviously one's quite a big giant tray, the other one's just a normal small gravel tray which has all my Sarracenia in. I actually have a lot more Sarracenia than I thought, because originally when I was organising stuff around I didn't think I had that many, but they all fit on one tray, plus I've got extras that didn't fit on the tray. So once I get some larger, more arrangement to go towards the back, I'll be able to spread them out a bit more, especially when they start growing. But it's been really nice to see the collection, especially organising it, and quite shocked as well because the greenhouse now looks really empty, as I've obviously now got more benches and less plants really. I don't really have anything on the short side anymore. I have a couple of trays underneath the benches which are just odd little bits which I've always had like lying around from things I've grown from seed or propagations, but again they're all in dormancy, so it wasn't really much to look at down there. But it's been really interesting to see, and I hope everybody's enjoyed looking at the updates. So thank you all for watching that video. I really hope you enjoyed the updates, which I just said like 2 seconds ago. But obviously if any of you would like to see anything else in the greenhouse, let me know, just drop me a comment below, and make sure you subscribe to see everything that comes up soon, especially as spring is not too far away and I can't wait to see how much the collection progresses this year as well. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.